Alright, 236-1031, previously approved with the Plasma Train Control System. The Plasma Train Control System fully implemented with the operation prior with the March 16, 2010 may receive the Plasma Train Control System certification for the applicable Plasma Train Control Railroad. One or more systems supplied with the Plasma Train Control Railroad subsubmit. Request expedited with the certificate requested for expedited certificate of the level associated. Administrator with the request expedited certificate. Letter must do one of the following: reference the product, the safety plan with the proof with the FAA under subpart H, including the document fulfilling the requirements under the statute 236-1011, 236-1013, not already included in the program safety plan. If the positive train control system has approved the FAA within operation for at least 5 years, that has already received an assessment of the verification validation for independent third party abundant with the part 236 of the waiver of the supporting operation. If the positive train control system is recognized under the order issued prior to the March 16, 2010, if request for the expedited certification letters conform with the paragraph the A1 of the section associated administrative with his or her sole with discretion may issue with a new type of approval of the Plasma Train Control System. In order to receive the type of approval of the Plasma Train Control System certification under paragraph A and B of this section, the Plasma Train Control System must show with the reliability execute with the functionality required with the statute 236-1005, 236-1007, otherwise conform to the subpart provision approval for the recognition of the train control system together with an established history with the may request the Plasma Train Control of the railroad consistent with the availability safety data to be credited toward the satisfaction of the safety case requirements set forth in part of the Plasma Train Control safety with respect to all functionalities of implementation contemplated by the approval of recognition. To the extent of the Plasma Train Control System proposed for the implementation on the subpart different with the significant detail of the system of the previously approved with the recognized with the change with the be fully analyzed with the Plasma Train Control displacement plan and positive control safety plan with the BK for the absent prior approval of recognition as used within the section from the proof with the referred to the approval of the product safety plan under subpart 8 with the subpart recognized refers official action with the permitting safety of the implemented for the control train operation under the FRA order with the after review of the safety case for the documentation for the implementation. Upon the receipt of the request for the expedited certificate, the FRA will consider all safety information for the extent feasible, appropriately given the specific fact with the before agency with nothing in this for the action limited with required review of the applicable safety of the case information for the party of the other than in the party receiving the probable approval of the recognition of the referred with the sedition into the sedition type of the approval of the Plasma Train Control System certification under the subpart of the statute 236-1033. Communications and security requirements. All wireless communications between the office wayside with the onboard component of the Plasma Train Control System shall be provided with the cryptographic message integrity with the authentication. Cryptographic key is required with the under paragraph A with the section which shall use the algorithm system by the National Institute standards for similarly recognized with the FRA approval of the standard by the be distributed using manual with the automated methods combination both be revoked if compromised unauthorized disclosure with a clear text of key with a key algorithm reaches the lifespan of the defined with the standard body responsible for the approval of the algorithm. Clears text form with a cryptographic key that shall be protected with the unauthorized disclosure, modification, substitution, except with the during with the key, entry with the clear text key with the components may be temporarily displayed with the allowed visual verification when the encrypted key with the keys component with the intended entered with the cryptographic power protected with the clear text with the key with the components shall not be displayed. Access to clear text should be protected with a tamper-resistant mechanism. Each railroad electing with also provided with a cryptographic message confidentially shall comply with all the same requirements for the message integrity with the authentication under this section. Only you for the meeting of the exceeding with the security of the strength required to protect the data defined with the railroads with the positive train control safety plan with required under the statute 236-1013 A7. Alright, each railroad and its vendor for the supplier shall have to provide service restoration mitigation plan scheduled for the unscheduled interruption of the service. The plan shall be included with the positive train control deployment plan and positive control safety plan required with the statute 236-1013, 1015. Applicable may be available to the FRA upon request without any due delay for the registration for the communication services of the support positive train control system services. Each railroad may elect to impose the most restrictive requirements that those in the section consistent with the interoperable requirements specified in the positive train control safety plan for the system. Alright, 236-135, field testing requirements. Before any field testing of an uncertified positive train control system of an or a product uncertified positive train control system, any of the regression testing of the certified positive train control system that's conducted with the general railway system that provided the railroad requesting the testing provided with the must provide a complete operation description of the positive train control system operation concept of the documentation, complete description of the specific test procedure included by the measure of the table of the ticket to protect the train's on-track equipment, the analysis of the applicable the requirements of subparts A through G of the part of the positive train control system will not apply with it during the test. The day of the proposed testing shall begin. Test location. The effect of the current method of the operation positive train control system will may have under the test. The FRA may impose additional testing conditions should believe that may be necessary for the safety of the train and the actions of the relief of the regulations other than subpart A through G. If this part of the railroad believe that are necessary to support the field testing must be requested in accordance with the part 211 of this title. Statute 236-1037, records retention. Each railroad with a positive train control system required to be installed under the subsidiary of the shall be maintained as designated of the office of the railroad. A current copy of the FRA approved type of the approval if any of the positive train control deployment plan and the safety plan it holds adequate documentation demonstrated with the positive train control plan, safety plan, and deployment plan meets the safety requirements of the subpart, including the risk assessment, operation maintenance manual pursuant to the statute 236-1039, training testing required pursuant to the statute 236-1043B. The result of the inspection testing that's specified in the positive train control safety plan deployment plan must record pursuant to statute 236-110. Each contractor serving relating to the testing maintenance of the operation of the positive train control system requiring the installed under the subchart but the shall maintain the designated with the office training records required under the statute 236-139B. However, the positive train control system is planned with the surface of the railroad shall maintain the database of all safety relevant hazards set forth in positive train control safety plan with the deployment plan and those not made previously identified in either document. If the frequency of safety relevant hazards exceed the threshold set forth in either of these documents, then the railroad shall 1. Report the inconsistency with the reading of the mail with a fast mile email hand delivery with the direct officer for the safety assurance of the compliance with the FRH field 100 New Jersey Avenue Southeast Washington Stop 25 Washington DC 20590 within 15 days of the discovered documents are handed but the delivered must be enclosed within the envelope. Take the prompt countermeasure to reduce the frequency each of the safety relevant hazards are below with the threshold set forth with the positive train control safety plan, the deployment plan. Provide a final report with the inconsistency of the result of the FRA to the director of the office of safety assurance of the compliance with the result with the analyst countermeasure to take of the reduce the frequency with the safety relevant hazards below the threshold of the forward of the positive train control safety deployment and the positive train control deployment plan. 236-1039 Operation Maintenance Manual. The railroad shall catalog will maintain all the documents specified in the positive train control placement and deployment plan and safety plan with the installation, maintenance, repair, the modification, inspection, testing of the positive train control system having the element of one for the operation of the maintenance manual with the reading of readily available to the person required for the performance of such tasks for inspection for the FRA certified state inspector of the plans required for the proper maintenance for the repair, inspection, testing, safety critical positive train control systems must be adequate. The detail must be made available to inspection for the FRA with the FRA certified state inspectors where such positive train control systems are deployed with the maintained they must be identify all the software versions, revisions, date, and plans may be legible and correct. Hardware, software, firmware revisions may be documented with the operation maintenance manual according to the railroad configuration management, the control plan, any additional configuration revision for the control measures specified with the positive train control deployment plan, safety plan, safety critical components, including spare equipment that must be positioned and positively identified, handled with the replaced with the prepared in accordance with the procedure specified in the positive control deployment plan and safety plan. Each railroad shall designate the operation maintenance of the manual as an appropriate railroad officer reasonable for the issuing relating to the schedule and interpretations of the related to 236-1029. 236-1041 Training and Qualification Program General. The training program for the positive train control employer shall establish the implementation training qualification program for the positive train control system subject to the part of the programs must meet the minimum requirements of the set forth and for the positive train control deployment, positive train control safety program. These programs must meet the minimum requirements set forth in positive train control deployment and safety deployment and 236-1039, 236-1049 is appropriate with the following personnel. Persons whose duties include installing, maintaining the repairing, modifying, inspecting, and testing of safety critical elements of the railroad positive train control system, and including the central off of the wayside onboard subsystem to the person who dispatches the train operation, issued for communicating any mandatory directive that is executed and enforced and intended to be executed with the enforced and train control system subject to the SPAR person who is operating with the train for the service of the train or engine crew member with the subject of the instruction testing under Part 217 of this chapter on train operating in the territory where the train control system is subject to the subpart in this use, the road for the roadway workers whose duties required to know the understanding of how the train control system affects the system and how to avoid the interfering with the proper function, and the 5, the director supervisors of the person listed in paragraph A1 through A4 of the section. 4B, the competency of the employer program must provide with the training for the person performing the functions desired with the paragraph A of the section to ensure that they have necessary knowledge of the edge and skill of effectively complete with the duties related to the operation and maintenance of the positive train control system. 236-1043, task analysis basic requirements. The training structure delivery as part of the program required by the statute 236-1041. Employer shall have the minimum to identify the specific goal of the training program regarded with the target population, with the craft experience level, scope of the work of the task, and desired success rate. The base of the formal task analysis identified installation, maintenance, repair, modification, inspection, testing of operating tests that must be performed by the railroad positive train control system, including the development of the failure scenario, the actions expected under such a scenario. Developing written procedure performance of the task identified with identifying the additional knowledge, the skills, and abilities above the required that basic job and performance necessary to performing each task. 5. Develop a training evaluation curriculum that includes the classroom simulators, computer-based, hands-on, formally structured training designed to impart the knowledge and skills with ability identified as necessary to perform the task prior to assign of the related tasks required of the personnel mentioned with the task statute 236-1041A with successful completion of the training curriculum passing examination for the cover of the positive train control system, appropriate rules and tasks which they are responsible for. However, such person may perform such tasks under the direct on-site supervision of the qualified person prior to completing such training and passing examination. Required periodic refresher training and evaluation intervals specified in the positive train control deployment and safety plan with it include the classroom simulator, computer-based hands-on, other formal structured training and testing except with respect to the basic skill of which the proficiency is known as remaining high as a result of the frequent repetition of the task. Conduct regular periodic evaluation of the effectiveness of the training program specified in statute 236-1041A1, verifying adequacy and training of the material with the validity with respect to the current railroad's positive train control system's operation. Training records. Employers shall retain the record of the designated person with the qualified under the section until the new designated are recorded for at least 1 year after such a person leave without applicable service. The record shall be kept in the designated location, be available for inspection, repetition of the FRA certified state inspector. 236-1045, training specific to office control personnel. Any personnel responsible for communicating mandatory direction within the territory of the positive train control system or will and shall be trained in the following areas applicable. Instruction concerning the interface between the computer-aided dispatching system and the train control specifically with respect to the safe movement of the trains and other track equipment, the railroad operating with the rules of the application of the train control system, including the provision of the movement of the protection of the roadway workers on equipped with trains with failed or cut out with the train control with the onboard system, the other on-track equipment, the instruction concerning with the control of the trains on the track equipment, it gave the train control system failed, including the periodic practical exercise of the simulations operation, testing of under the Part 217 with the chapter to ensure the continued capability of the personnel to provide safety operation under the alternative method of the operation. 236-1047, the training specifically locomotive engineers, other operating personnel. Operating personnel training is provided within the subpart with any locomotive engineer. Any other person that participates in the operation for the train in the train control territory shall be defined in positive train control deployment plan as well as the positive train control safety plan. The following elements should be addressed: familiarization with the train control equipment on board locomotive, the functioning with the equipment of the part of the system in relation to the onboard system under the person in the control. Any actions required from the onboard personnel able to enter with the data of the system such consider the data of the role of the function and the safety operation of the train, sequencing intervention for the system with including the pre-enforcement, notification, penalty application, initiation, post-penalty application procedure, railroad operating rules and testing, Part 217 applicable to the train control system, including the provision for the movement, the protection of any unequipped train for the trains who had failed or cut out train with the control of the onboard system with the other on-track equipment. Means detecting deviation from proper function for the onboard train control equipment, instruction and report. Regarding the action to be taken with respect to the control of the train, the notification designed by the railroad personnel, the information needed to prevent the initial interference with the proper functioning of the onboard train control equipment, the locomotive engineer training of the training required under the subpart of the locomotive engineer, the required shall be integrated with the program. The training was required with part 240 of this chapter. The following automatic operation, the following subspecial requirements applying with the event and with the train control system is used to affect the full automatic operation of the train. The positive train control deployment and safety plan shall be identified with the safety hazards to be mitigated with the locomotive engineer. Positive train control deployment and safety plan shall be addressed with the described training with the required with the provision of the maintenance for the skill proficiency as minimum of the train program must, as described in the statute 236-1043A2, the develop the failure of the scenarios with the incorporated of the safety hazard and identify the positive control deployment and safety plan, including the return of the train, the operation of the fully manual mode, providing the train consistency with the statute 236-1047A with the safety train operation under the failure scenario, identify the safety hazard for the effect of the training operations, and 3, provide training consistent with the statute 236-147A with the safety train operations under the manual control. 4. Consistency with the 236-1047A with the ensure of the maintenance of the manual of the train operating skill with the required the manual starting with the stopping of the train with as an appropriate number of the trip with one or more of the following method of the manual operation for the training of the 4-hour work period. Simulated manual operation for the train minimum of 4 hours in the type 1 simulator is required, and C. Otherwise determine the following without consultation between the railroad and designated representative with the effective employee that approved the FRA public train control deployment the deployment plan with the safety plan with the shall be designated with the appropriate frequency with the manual operation starting and stopping may be conducted with the appropriate frequency of the simulated manual operation. Conductor training the training required with the subpart with the conductor together with the required records to be integrated with the program of the training required under this chapter. Statute 236-1049 training specifically to the roadway worker. The roadway worker for the training required under the subpart of the roadway workers to be integrated into the program instruction required under part 214 with the subpart C with the traction over the chapter of the roadway protection with the consistent with the task analysis requirements of the statute 236-1043. The training shall provide with the instruction roadway worker provide with the protection of themselves the roadway work group. The training subject area the instruction of the roadway workers shall ensure the understanding of the role of the procedure processor based signal of the train control equipment ensure protection for the roadway worker their equipment and the instruction for all the roadway workers working in the territory of the positive train control system required on the subpart with the shall be ensure the recognition of the processor-based signal train control equipment on the wayside and all understanding on how to avoid the interference with the proper functioning. Instructions concerning with the recognition system failure for the provision of the alternative methods on track safety in case of the train control system fails, including periodic practical exercise simulations, operational testing under Part 217 of this chapter to ensure the continued compatibility with the roadway workers to be free of the danger of being struck by a moving train or other on-track equipment. Appendix A, 2 parts, 236 civil penalties.